In the news tonight, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley says the BLP still has work to do ahead of the by-election. The Agriculture Minister blasts a social media video as irresponsible. And in sports, Wanderers squeak home against UWI in the BCA T20 Cup.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom, and we begin tonight on the campaign trail. As the excitement begins 3 days ahead of the St. George North by-election, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley is urging all constituents to head to the polls on Wednesday. She says while the Barbados Labour Party has been able to accomplish a number of things, there's still a lot of work to be done. Ms. Motley was speaking at the end of a whistle-stop tour conducted by the party over the weekend. Rachel Agard has that story.
Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley is reiterating the Barbados Labour Party will take nothing for granted heading into the upcoming St. James North by-election. She stresses the trust of the people must be earned, and there is no such thing as a Labour Party seat. Prime Minister Motley also thanks candidate Chad Blackman for comporting himself during the campaign with dignity, while recognizing the only important thing is the people of St. James North. She's asking all Barbadians to come out and give Blackman and the Barbados Labour Party their vote as they head to the polls.
You would have heard me say earlier today that this gentleman has served this country with distinction overseas. We believe that he can serve the people of St. James North equally with distinction, and that is why we have worked this hard over the course of the last few weeks to make him the candidate of our choice, and equally the candidate we believe of your choice in St. James North, so that he may become the Member of Parliament for the people of St. James North. There are a number of issues here that reflect the national condition, and therefore we are confident that with his voice, both to the people of St. James North and the people of Barbados, that his representation will make a huge difference to the lives of St. James North and to the lives of the people of Barbados.
Meanwhile, Mr. Blackman says this campaign has been about more than just the election, and really about renewing the partnership with and commitment to the people of St. James North. He has pledged once again to commit himself to the long-term marathon ahead.
I'm humbled enough to admit we don't take people for granted, and it is really now to ensure that that support translates into votes on Wednesday. And we're going to ensure every day, every hour until then, that we make sure that we can continue to see people where they're at.
Deputy Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw, who is also the campaign manager for the by-election, says they have had a lot of support in the constituency, and one of the things they will be focused on for the next couple of days is getting people out to the polls. But she says the best is yet to come.
I've seen a commitment from Chad that I have not seen in a long time from many people who have run. Every day people are asking to see him, and he has been responding as best as he can. He's not gotten to everybody, but he is committed and he's dedicated. He's taking the information and he's following up. And I think it is demonstrating, to the people of St. James North the level of representation that they can expect from this representative and this young man going forward into the future. So I think the entire Barbados Labour Party is energized, but I can feel it in St. James North that people are energized, and that the issues that are going to be addressed are issues that Chad is already passionate about. They're issues that he has already advocated for, that he's been on the forefront in terms of his economic scope and contribution. He has been advocating for these things already.
The by-election for St. James North is scheduled for May 21st. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Meanwhile, DLP candidate Felicia Dujon is contending the disabled community in St. James North needs help. According to Ms. Dujon, not enough was being done by the previous representative to help their plight. She was speaking at a meeting at Ashton Hall last night.
I have met several members of the disability communities that have been pleading for help. And the irony behind that is that the representative that has been here for 7 years claimed to be a champion of the rights of persons with disabilities. Sir, where have you been? Have you seen the struggles of the people in this constituency that I have met over 2 or 3 weeks. If I've only been here 2 or 3 weeks, could you imagine what I will do in this constituency in the next 5, 10, 15, 25, or even 30 years?
Government's Start Wise program has been a failure, according to opposition leader Ralph Thorne. Speaking at the DLP's meeting in Ashton Hall, Mr. Thorne said the program, which targeted young people in search of a global job but who do not wish to leave Barbados, had not met its target. He says a budget of over $6 million was submitted for the project, which was to help address much of the underemployment seen among young people.
This government paid $1.8 million for a program called Start Wise, which was meant to train 500 people, young people who they described as at risk. And they were told that we are going to graduate them and they will become worthy citizens and they will be fit for employment. After the first period, 45 graduated, not one found a job.
The Ministry of Agriculture is describing a video currently in circulation as malicious and intended to mislead the public. The video shows a number of bales of sugar outside the Port Vale sugar factory. However, Minister Indar Weir says it misrepresents standard operational procedures at Port Vale and undermines the integrity of the production process. Minister Weir says the sugar shown in the video is awaiting remelting, a routine and controlled part of quality assurance. He also notes that all sugar designated for remelting is temporarily stored outside the factory for same-day processing. He says this ensures only sugar that meets the strict standards required for direct consumption is packaged and distributed. Minister Weir explains that sugar is remelted for several legitimate and quality-related reasons. He further explains that Port Vale produces only direct consumption sugar, which must meet international food safety and quality standards. Any sugar not meeting these specifications is reprocessed, not discarded, to ensure product integrity and reduce waste. He also reassures the public that the factory maintains rigid quality control protocols, and any attempts to misrepresent these processes are both irresponsible and harmful. Over 200 Toastmasters from across the Caribbean will be amplifying their voices as leaders unify and stride into the new millennium. This year's District 81 Caribbean Toastmasters Conference is currently on after being kicked off at the Radisson Aquatica recently. Head of the Ashley Lashley Foundation and keynote speaker Ashley Lashley told those in attendance, as leaders, they need to lead with purpose. And she says leadership does not start at a ballot box, but rather in the homes.
It starts in the living room, in the way a father listens, in the way a mother uplifts, in the way our children speak, and in the way we teach them to speak for themselves. But as we look around us, violence is rising, families are fractured, we have bad boys and bad girls leading entire generations because the so-called good leaders are absent or chose to remain silent.
Furthermore, Ms. Lashley says leadership is not just a title, but rather a spirit, and she urges older leaders to pass the baton to allow young people to shine in leadership roles.
We are still too often excluded from spaces where decisions are made. We are invited to conferences, but not into boardrooms. We are asked to speak, but not to decide. And yet, we show up not with despair, but with determination. Too often, systems built to serve people have forgotten who they are meant to serve. As a young woman, again, leading an NGO from a small island developing state, I've seen firsthand how international systems are designed with one-size-fits-all solutions. Solutions that don't work for countries like mine or for yours.
Sports news now. Wanderers defeated UWI Blackbirds by 2 runs in a close encounter at Darrells Road as the BCA T20 Cup went into Series 3 today. On a match reduced to 15 overs aside due to rain, Wanderers got up to 95 for 9. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boyce reports on the Wanderers' innings.
Wanderers won the toss and elected to bat and were in big trouble early. Captain Jonathan Drake says Bull by Carlo Boyce, 10 for 1. Boyce picked up back-to-back wickets. Gerard Lovell only faced one ball. Yup, that's LBW. The finger goes up. Huey pumped up. At the other end, Zion Braffett into the attack. And the new batsman is Tevin Walcott. Too wide outside the off stump and it's cut to the fence. Boyce returned and Walcott was fortunate on this occasion to get a boundary. This really should have been stopped, but 4 runs nevertheless. However, Boyce got sweet revenge and sent Walcott's off stump flying. Wanderers 30 for 4. Walcott goes for 12. Jason Green faced 13 deliveries and scored only 4 runs as he too was a victim of Boyce. No one could handle this left arm pace. He finished with 4 for 12. Wanderers ending on 95 for 9. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Anmar. And in reply, Uri reached 93 for 7. In some other results now, Gladiola defeated Police by 90 runs. YMPC won by 81 runs over St. Catherine. Spartan defeated Pickwick by 3 runs. Windward beat Yorkshire by 77 runs. Empire beat Maple by 7 wickets. Wildy defeated Lords by 9 wickets, while the match between Isolation Cavaliers and Maple was abandoned due to a wet outfield. West Indies women defeated an England Cricket Board's Development 11 by 80 runs today at Canterbury in the lone warm-up ahead of their series against hosts England women. Sent into bat, the West Indies women posted 175 for 4 from their 20 overs, led by Kiana Joseph with a 35 ball 62. Captain Hayley Matthews and Aaliyah Aline added 20 runs each. Spinners Afi Fletcher and Karishma Ramnarak then took 2 wickets apiece to help restrict the ECB Women's Development 11 to 95 for 7. West Indies women will play England women in the first of 3 T20s on May 21st. The annual Sandy Lane Charitable Trust Junior Road Tennis Tournament served off at the Pine today. It attracted several young road tennis players who showed that the sport is in good hands. Damien Best reports.
Sandy Lane Charitable Trust Road Tennis Tournament, overcast conditions, but it's keen competition. This is Amari Proverbs back in the screen playing Kidian Critchlow. Cross-court winner there from Proverbs. Early days of this one, both players content to stay in the rallies before attempting a passing shot. Proverbs finds the net. And it would be that attacking mindset of Proverbs that needed to be tamed a little bit. Again denied by the woodwork. Fast forward Critchlow finding his groove and Proverbs' radar slightly off. Up 14 to 11. Critchlow's service game was a headache as well. It was quick and Proverbs without countermeasures. Sure enough, Critchlow would wrap up the first game at 21-14. The trend continued in the second with a switch of ends. Proverbs coming inside, caught in a little tangle and doesn't have the placement. Up 11 to 4, it was about maintaining the pressure. This time Proverbs pulling all the strings, making his opponent work, and then producing the winner. Cross-court, point of the match. But such was the dominance and scoreline advantage of Critchlow that he would not be denied the victory, closing out the second at 21-14. Next on court was Dimitri Lewis back in the screen versus Amari Yearwood Gibson. The first game was a complete blowout. From 15 to 5, Lewis never looked back. Gibson lethargic and ultimately surrendering, handed a sow, 21-5. Let's go to the second. Switch of ends, Gibson up 11 to 5, adding some impetus to his stroke play now. Lewis missing his mark, but you could tell that hint of superiority might not last too long. The Gremlins return, unforced error. From being down 10 to 15, somehow Lewis rediscovered his form to not only lock the score at 15-all, but also inch ahead. In fact, he looked like a master tactician, leaving Gibson to ponder where he went wrong. Lewis approaching the finish line, got a little more resistance from Gibson at 19 to 17, but you can mark this one down as an easy win for Dimitri Lewis over Amari Yearwood Gibson. 21-5, 21-18. And finally, on our highlights reel, Dominic Hood in the far court defeated Shakai Husbands in 2 straight as well. Up 10-6, Hood eased to a 21-10 scoreline in the first game and then repeated the dosage in the second, taking that at 21-11. A good day of road tennis in the Pine.
One Calypso tent is calling for the Pickety Crop competition to return to 2 songs per performer. The Koyman All-Stars tent launched its crop over campaign at Koyman in Kendall Hill, where tent owner and manager Eleanor Rice says she believes the competition has produced quality songs when finalists had to produce 2 pieces. She would like to see the competition return to the format where there were semi-finals before the finals.
One of the things that I have always stressed on, I do not like one song competition. And I do not like that we don't have a semi-finals. But if that is what it is, then the Calypsonians have to work harder at getting into that final 18. But I prefer a vetting competition that takes away the ones that don't necessarily have to go to finals. But when you do 18, you got to get what you get. But I would prefer a semi-finals and let the people advance then to finals. Because you know for sure then that you're picking out the best out of those 18.
The Koyman All-Stars tent is scheduled to begin on June 1st at St. Gabriel's School. And in this programming note, on TV8's The People's Business Tonight, the focus will be on animal welfare. That's The People's Business Tonight at 8. Don't miss it. And that's our news. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.